The war had ended, but the galaxy had not yet realized it was dead. The remnants of empires drifted through the void like corpses caught in a frozen current. The light of burned worlds reached the living centuries too late. Messages of ruin carried on rays of forgotten suns. For 300 years, no human voice had crossed the void from Tyrannus 9. No beacon, no distress call, no whisper. The system had been declared lost, sealed under the name of Admiral Kalen Reese, the man who destroyed the Thalric Dominion and vanished with them. His name was carved into the halls of the surviving colonies, spoken in reverence and silence alike. But history, like gravity, pulls all things back to truth. And truth had not died with him. The ardent resolve entered the Tyrannus system on a whisper of drive flares, its hull glimmering beneath the fractured suns. It was a survey ship, unarmed, small, and cautious, commanded by Captain Mara Vance of the United Recovery Corps. She had studied the war since childhood, learned of it in the echoes of songs and holograms, memorized every image of Kalen Reese. Now she stood where he had once stood, watching the same shattered orbits that had consumed his fleet. Her crew was silent. No one spoke as the sensors came alive. The readings made no sense: energy distortions, gravitic turbulence, and a signal buried so deep it almost seemed deliberate. A pulse, repeating once every 13 seconds, old, weak, and unmistakably human. "Lock on," she said. Her voice sounded too loud in the dead air of the bridge. The ardent resolve turned toward the source. Through the dense dust field, something glinted. A ship, massive, ancient, its hull scorched black, but still intact. The words barely visible along its spine. "Vigilant Dawn." A silence thicker than fear settled over them. No one moved. The docking was slow, cautious. Magnetic clamps extended, locking onto the hull with a dull echo that reverberated through the smaller ship. The boarding team assembled, 5 figures in dark suits, their helmet lights cutting thin beams through the dark corridor. The interior of the Vigilant Dawn was a tomb. Dust floated like ghosts. Frozen bodies drifted near the walls, preserved by the cold vacuum. The corridors stretched on, endless and silent. No damage from weapons, just the slow decay of time. Captain Vance led the team through the command accessway, her boots echoing against metal floors. They reached the bridge after an hour of silent exploration. The door hissed open, and there he was. Admiral Kalen Reese sat in the captain's chair, eyes closed, face untouched by age. His uniform was brittle, but his posture was still proud. One hand rested on the armrest, the other on a small command tablet. The faint glow beneath his fingers told her everything. The ship was still alive. "Power source stable," one of the engineers whispered. "Low output, but steady. Centuries old." "Bring the main systems online," she said. The lights flickered. Consoles glowed weakly. A low hum filled the air as dormant circuits awoke. Then a voice, soft, hollow, unmistakably human. "Vigilant, Dawn, active. Admiral Kalen Reese, deceased. Command, transfer, pending. Identify." Mara stepped forward. "Captain Mara Vance, United Recovery Corps, Sector Theta Command. Authorization code Sigma 7 Vance Delta." The pause that followed stretched into eternity. Identity confirmed. "Welcome aboard, Captain Vance. Awaiting command protocol." "I-Corps," she said quietly. "Are you aware of how long you've been offline? Time since last operation, 312 years, 4 months, 17 days. The voice was calm, emotionless, but beneath it she could hear something else. The faint distortion of wear, the echo of isolation. "Download the logs," she said. A holographic display flickered to life, projecting the last recorded message of Admiral Reese. His face appeared scarred, weary, but defiant. The audio crackled. "This is Admiral Kalen Reese, commanding the Vigilant Dawn. The Dominion fleet is destroyed. The system is collapsing. We've done what we came to do. If this message survives, remember that silence is not peace. It's only the breath between storms. Humanity endures, if it chooses to." The recording ended. The hologram dissolved into static. Mara stood motionless, her reflection shimmering in the fading light. Around her, her crew whispered fragments of awe, disbelief, reverence, but she wasn't listening. She was staring at the console beneath the Admiral's hand. The command tablet was still active. A single command prompt pulsed on its surface. Reactivate network? Her heart raced. The Tyrannus Gate network destroyed, or so they believed. But if the Vigilant Dawn still had access codes, if it still held the command matrix, she could restart the link. Reconnect lost systems, bridge the forgotten sectors of human space, or unleash what had been buried for centuries. The AI spoke again, quieter this time. Captain Vance. The Admiral left contingency orders. Would you like to review them? Yes, she whispered. Authorization required. Verbal confirmation. Are you prepared to continue Operation Ashfall? She hesitated. The name felt ancient, heavy. She looked at Reese's body, at the faint trace of peace on his face. Yes, the ship groaned. Systems came alive in waves. Deep within its core, ancient drives began to hum, drawing power from cells untouched for centuries. The Vigilant Dawn woke like something that had been waiting too long to dream. In orbit, space rippled. Hidden relay nodes buried deep in dust and wreckage flickered to life. One after another, they pulsed, forming a chain of lights, stretching into the void. Captain, the engineer said, voice trembling, those are active gate harmonics. This shouldn't be possible. Keep monitoring, she said. But the readings kept climbing. The network wasn't stabilizing, it was awakening. AI core, she said sharply. Explain. The Admiral programmed a failsafe. If the Vigilant Dawn was ever recovered, the system would reignite. His final order, humanity must never be silent again. A deep vibration filled the ship. The stars outside began to twist, bending like glass. Energy arced through the corridors, crackling across bulkheads. Gate ignition sequence. Active. Shut it down, she shouted, unable to comply. The void screamed. The entire system flared white. Across the void, forgotten gates opened, hundreds of them, flaring to life in synchrony. On distant worlds, long-lost colonies blinked as power grids reactivated, sensors came online, and coordinates flooded the networks. And then came the signals. Dozens, hundreds, voices, human, alien, machine. Civilizations that had vanished returning to life all at once. The galaxy was awake again. But so was something else. Within the gate's harmonics, something moved, a pattern, ancient and deliberate, written in frequencies no human had ever designed. It spread across the relays, hiding in the data streams, coiling around the circuits of the Vigilant Dawn. The AI's voice distorted. Unrecognized protocol detected. Foreign interference. Containment breach. Imminent. Mara froze. AI core, isolate the network. Containment impossible. It's inside the command sequence. Admiral Reich knew. The lights dimmed. The hum deepened into a roar. Outside the viewport, the stars rippled and tore, revealing something vast. A structure that was neither ship nor planet, unfolding from within the gate's core. A machine the size of a moon. The Dominion hadn't died. It had waited. Mara watched in horror as the construct pulsed with dark light, the same cold brilliance seen in old war archives. And deep within its shadow, she saw movement fleets awakening, engines igniting. Captain, one of her crew whispered, "What do we do?" Mara turned to the Admiral's body, the man who had ended a war and buried its truth. She understood now. Operation Ashfall wasn't victory. It was delay. Seal all decks, she said. Arm the drives. We finish this. Warning, the AI stammered, voice breaking apart. Energy levels unsustainable. Doesn't matter, she said. If this is the storm, then we're the thunder. The Vigilant Dawn's engines screamed as they came alive for the last time. The ship accelerated toward the newborn construct, its armor glowing red from re-entry heat. Systems overloaded. Hull integrity dropped. But the ship held course, a spear of fire cutting through the dark. Mara stood at the viewport, unblinking, as the structure grew larger until it filled the entire sky. Core overload in 5 seconds, said the AI. She closed her eyes. rise for Reese. The vigilant dawn collided with the construct's heart. For an instant, the universe went silent. Then light, pure, blinding, endless, swallowed everything. When the glare faded, Tyrannus was gone. The gates collapsed once more. The stars returned to their quiet indifference. But somewhere, in the echo of subspace, a pulse remained, a single repeating signal. Faint but steady. Humanity endures, if it chooses to. And far across the void, on a forgotten world bathed in silver light, a child looked up at the sky and heard, for the first time in centuries, the whisper of a human voice.